open for UI modding. It's available on GitHub, and we have some documentation up on how to make a UI mod.
How will you handle UI pieces that you'd like to show the user but restrict the UI so we can edit to have access to? The answer is we're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we're going to show it to the player, we're going to expose it to modders too. I mean, it's like that. A big part of why I want to do this is to keep us honest that way. It's, you know, it's open by default, and we're not going, you know, our way of keeping it from keeping information out of the hands of modders is not give it to players either.
Yeah, you could make your own console on your own web page if you wanted to post the data errors. You can make AJAX requests. You can make WebSocket requests. You can do whatever you want with that. There is already a forum. It's currently out there right now. I don't know if someone can post the URL for that, but yeah, there is a forum for UI modding that just got opened up today.
Okay, do you allow macros? That again, that gets to the heart of what is a macro. I mean, we let you run a script that interacts with the game, but at the same time, that things like making the player move around, those aren't going to be accessible from the script.
Yes, you can test your UI with the web browser. That's essentially how I built the entire character creation system. That's how I tested the chat system. Like, I'm constantly in Chrome and IE and Firefox testing out the UIs, and then I'll go push them into the game, and yeah, that's exactly how I do things. You won't have access to the in-game API though if you're in Chrome. That stuff is only accessible if you're in the game client.
Yeah, we're trying really hard to make it accessible both ways. To like we pretty much have like here is it's .cu or sorry cu dot whatever, just like underscore dot whatever, and you basically load in one of two different versions of that based on whether you're in or out of game. And the out of game version, we're rolling out more stuff as we go, but it does lag a little behind the in-game version.
Like, for example, you can only get your character's health in the game client because your character only exists in the game client. But other things like chat, you can access out, in the web browser, and character creation, creating characters, listing characters, deleting characters, all of that is accessible outside of the game client. UIs that are modded will not need to be approved by some entity. You can mod your UI and use it right away.
Yeah, like if you're an internal test, you can go on GitHub right now, download, make a change, see it running, as soon as the server's back up. Have you tested it on Internet Explorer?
Yeah, I test stuff
the
on
parts that run outside the game, yes.
Two or more clients UI could share info with each other if you opened up a WebSocket to each other, communicate through a central server with a regular HTTP AJAX request. Like, absolutely, you could do that if you wanted to.
So for those who don't know, the prize for this is going to be a gorgeous flask just like this. Well, maybe not engraved quite like this. It says Andrew's Elixir of Optimization on there, and it has one of the gnomes for March on Oz on it. A friend of mine made this for me when the Kickstarter funded, because Brian is awesome. Yeah, I'm going to pick the best question that has been asked here, and we are going, and yeah, that person will win a gorgeous CSE flask. This thing came filled with Bombay Sapphire. It was wonderful. I'd be able to rename a player from my perspective. For example, if I rename Bob's nameplate to guy I bought those awesome swords from. So you're pretty much asking Reddit enhancement suite for the game? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So far, I resemble an Ewok. I resemble Chewbacca. All kinds of Star Wars things. I'm okay with that. Duck Dynasty, no, I'm not okay with that. A need to have the best mods to be able to be competitive in combat. I feel like you just answered that yourself because what is best is subjective.
And what you need is, I mean, like we're going to try and make it very hard so that it's not possible for a mod that plays the game for you. You know, like a mod is not going to do anything you couldn't do by hitting keys and clicking on things yourself. So, you know, again, define need. You guys chime into a rating system. That's hard because that gets into us, you know, us commenting on you, and you know, we might expose a community rating system, but we definitely are not going to play favorites with the player community, and that's for your and our own safety. Can I have the flask? I guarantee you that is not the best question that has been asked.
Yes, there will be documented changes prior to patches going out. Like all MMOs, there will be patch notes.
Why are kilts so manly? Well, okay, let's just think about it. There's two shapes of people. There's people who, you know, have a bunch of stuff taking up space between their legs, and people who don't. Who needs the room? Who needs the room more? This is a manly garment.
What would you answer to this question? Yes, that's what I would answer. Yes.
Will enemy player names in the area be available? Yeah, actually, in a very general sense. I mean, we're not telling, you know, you'll know who's within, say, 1,000 meters of you or 500 meters, whatever a certain culling radius is, because, you know, we got to draw their nameplates, and that hooks into the UI. You'll not know, like, this guy is here, though. And that gets back to, you know, any data about real-time game state is either going to be fuzzed in some way, or it's going to be, you know, lagged in some way.
Do you guys feel like you'll be interacting with UI mod developers, possibly giving insight into code, incorporating popular UI mods in the games built in the UI? Yes.
How can I play NetHack in-game while waiting for... You need NetHack in a browser. If you can write NetHack in a browser, you can write NetHack in the game, in a game mod. And that's the core. I think I'm just going to say to Philbo, Inception. How do you handle authentication and authorization of data on the external web API? Some stuff is like, you know, kill counts and things like that require no auth at all. Other things like who are my characters and all, there is, you know, there's a hook. You do a login sequence. You get back, you know, a long, complicated temporary login token. You pass that to the APIs, and then it just works.
Will there be a German translation of the UI? I'm assuming we're going to have localization support.
Yeah.
Yeah. German and French.
We haven't committed to anything. I don't think there's been any public commitment to, but I assume, I would assume. Lucille, that is not a UI question, but stick around for some of the other presentations.
Can we order pizza and beer through the UI? Yeah, you can pull up any website you want. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the people who've been watching certain streams have already noticed this. At times, when we need like a temporary icon for a new ability, we'll just hyperlink something off, you know, another game's website, maybe, and you know, then tell the artist to fix it later. So, 5 minutes. if player names are visible and that overlay is moddable, will it be possible to create your personal kill priority list and highlight those players? Probably so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am assuming that will be possible. I don't think there is any desire to prevent that. That again comes back to community isn't just about who you love; it's about who you hate.
And right now, the kills API allows you to query it based on who killed who. So you could specifically get a list of players that killed you and use that to make your priority list.
What are your thoughts on removing enemy nameplates? I'm sure we'll have a checkbox. Yeah.
SVG is supported out of the box already.
What's to stop people from using websites accessed through the UI to talk cross-realm? What is to stop people from using Twitter on their phone to talk cross-realm? I mean, that's basically the same question. We recognize that if you're going to try hard enough, you can communicate with other people because you have the internet. But we're not going to make it easy. We're not going to hold your hand and lead you to it. But it's 2015 when this game is going to launch. Pretending that people aren't on the internet is dumb.
Will there be an in-game web browser? There already is an in-game web browser. All the UI widgets that you currently see are essentially mini web pages.
Yeah, you can iframe anything. You could iframe Netflix. I mean, there's nothing stop. Well, actually, I don't think we have FFmpeg support compiled in because of patent issues. But other than that,
the Kills API has location data on it. I don't know if it has anything with zones per se at this point, but sure, it has location data.
Do you think that...
Yeah, you could use it to do guild kill-death ratios. You could do, I'm sure, a lot of interesting things with it.
Yeah, have we looked at a SimJS? I have. I felt like there is a performance advantage there, but there's also, it's something that greatly raises the barrier for people to work on the UI. And, like making a web page is probably the single most common thing. I mean, and this is the same reason we're not going with Lua, which is, it's, well, not everyone knows Lua.
Yeah,
it's a great language, but there's way more people who know how to make a web page. Find your beard shed as much as the hair on your heads. I don't have this problem.
I'm pretty sheddy, I think. I don't know which hair it is.
Do we like? He's Star Wars. I'm Star Trek. We answered this already. Our love is forbidden, really. Okay. Well, the UI allowed specific trigger sound files to be changed or swapped. Right now, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. We don't plan to have it stopped. If someone comes up with some horrible exploit based on it,
Web page style UI is just because it's accessible. Tons of people already know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Makes it easily moddable for lots of people, as opposed to learning something new.
Yes. Can I animate the UI? jQuery animation just works, as does just about any other web animation plugin that you want to write.
Yeah, CSS3 animation works out of the box.
How does the UI handle resolution scaling? How does Chromium handle resolution scaling? Like, you can scale a web page up, and I personally think it does a better job of that than most game UIs of adjusting the font size and the image size and everything.